Once upon a time, there was a small town in the countryside where Easter used to be celebrated with joy and fervor. But there was a dark legend that loomed over the place for centuries. It was said that every 100 years on Easter Eve, demonic rabbits would emerge from the shadows to hunt innocent souls. On this year's Easter Eve, a group of friends decided to camp on the outskirts of the town, ignoring the warnings of the elders. As they prepared for the night, they heard strange sounds around the campfire. Macabre laughter echoed through the forest, followed by scratches on the tent. Terrified, they tried to flee but found themselves trapped by a horde of red-eyed rabbits, with sharp fangs and skins as black as night. A deadly hunt began as the friends ran desperately through the dark forest, increasingly engulfed by terror. As the night wore on and the friends fought for their lives, an ancient tome was stumbled upon, describing an ancestral ritual to banish the demonic rabbits back to the depth from whence they came. With racing hearts and trembling hands, the survivors gathered around the campfire, reciting the ancient words fervently. A bright glow filled the clearing, and the rabbits disappeared in a cloud of black smoke. But even with the threat dissipated, the survivors knew they would never forget that terrible Easter and the shadows that lurk in the forest. On a quiet street in town, a mysterious shop appeared on Easter Eve. Its window displayed an impressive collection of hand-painted Easter eggs, each more beautiful than the last. The residents were intrigued and curious, especially the children, who couldn't resist the temptation to explore the shop's interior. Upon entering, the children found themselves in a magical world where Easter eggs came to life. While marveling at the creations, a whispering voice echoed through the halls, offering them the chance to choose a special egg that would grant a wish. But there was a sinister warning. Every wish had a price to be paid. Intrigued by the tempting offer, the children examined the eggs carefully, each one more tempting than the last. Finally, each one chose their special egg, eager to see their wishes come true. But as time passed and the wishes were fulfilled, the children realized something was wrong. Every wish had a hidden cost, a price they would have to pay with their souls. Desperate to undo the dark pact, the children sought a way to break the enchantment before it was too late. But their attempts were in vain, and soon they realized they were trapped in an endless cycle of despair and sorrow. Each wish fulfilled only increased the weight of their anguish, and the children realized they would never be free. As night fell over the town, the children found themselves entangled in a dark and lonely fate, unable to escape the consequences of their choices. The mysterious shop disappeared silently, leaving behind only painful memories and heavy hearts. And on that dark Easter, the town mourned the loss of innocence of its children, remembering that not every wish fulfilled brings happiness, and that some prices are simply impossible to pay. It was a normal night for David, a 12-year-old boy who lived in an old house in the suburbs of the city. As he lay in bed, ready to fall asleep, he heard a strange noise coming from the attic, a dragging sound, as if something was moving up there. Curious and a little scared, David decided to investigate. With his heart pounding, he climbed the stairs to the dark and dusty attic. He searched every corner, illuminating with the faint light of a flashlight. That's when his eyes fixed on a strange object in the far corner, an egg, large and black, with a dark aura around it. David shuddered as he touched the egg, feeling a wave of fear run down his spine. Suddenly, the egg began to multiply before his eyes, generating identical copies of itself at a frantic pace. In a panic, David tried to flee the attic, but the door was locked, and the walls seemed to be closing in around him. He was trapped, with the cursed eggs multiplying around him, until there was no more room to breathe. When all seemed lost and David felt the air escaping from his lungs, he woke up in his bed, bathed in sweat and trembling with terror. He breathed a sigh of relief, realizing it was all just a nightmare. But the relief was short-lived, as his mother called him down for breakfast. Descending the stairs, David saw his mother smiling at him, holding a black egg in her hands. Her smile, however, was grotesque. Her eyes had been gouged out, and her face was distorted by a sinister expression. She extended the egg to saying with a distorted voice, "Happy Easter, my son." Horror-struck, David realized that the nightmare was far from over. He was trapped in a terrible reality where the boundaries between dream and nightmare, life and death were blurred. And now, he would have to face the consequences of his deepest fears. as a curse dragged him into the abyss of the unknown.